Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. Today we're going to talk about another BOLO here. It's something that I do look for that does sell for a decent amount of money. It may sound a little odd on this one here just because, these are things that still exist, but they're just coupons. Now, these are just standardized coupons starting in, say, 1920s for free Coca-Cola. And these go back all the way to the 1800s, some of these. And I've had some Coca-Cola ones from the 1800s that we sold for $400 and $500 for Coca-Cola ones. So these are just some newer ones, as I said. These are, $20-30 a piece. There's some die-cut ones that you'll run into Coke-wise here, too. I've got a bunch of each of these here, too. So if buying in bulk, sometimes it works. Sometimes you could find some nice ones. This is for free, actually a 6-pack of bottles. But we're going to go to the screen and we're going to talk just about coupons in general today because it's a huge area. And as you see, just with Coke coupons alone, you can make a lot of money. I've got a couple bucks into these. There's probably a good $150 into this little tiny stack of stuff here, maybe even more. So again, coupons sell all the time. But we're going to go to the screen and we're going to talk about coupons. Okay, now coupons go across the gambit. There's all kinds of coupons. Even for like bonds and stocks and back of magazines, in magazines and print ads. Just the kind you can find at the store. Now, I'm not going to show you a lot of the store ones. People do sell those on eBay, believe it or not, in big lump sum bulks. So you can buy those as well, too. But the coupons, the first one I ever sold was, let me see if we can scan down through here. Now, this is a Confederate, basically like a bond, and they would be able to reimburse or get money back when they turn in one of these little coupons here. These were actually the first coupons that I ever sold. I sold one of these or similar one from an 1864 version of this. It was like a war loan to help fund the government of the Confederacy. So, all the stuff sells, but it came from this full sheet. These do show up, believe it or not. There's war bonds from Civil War, even before that, all the way up to current day for our country, for Germany, for France, for England, for Canada. Everybody did these to help fund it. So, this is something you look for. And sometimes the signature on these can be worth a ton of money as well. This one went for $356. Now, yes, this is a little odder. Something you may have never even seen or even heard of. I've had many of these. So, they do show up. There are abilities to get them. If you know what you're looking for and you know how much to spend and how much you can make off of them, yes, you can make some good money and still find these. This isn't something you're going to find for a couple bucks. This is probably something you'd spend like $100-150 on somewhere at a sale or something. That would probably be what I would guess and what I have spent on similar items. So anyway. Now this is an oddball one, but these always sell. Ice Company coupon books for getting ice, basically. Now I've seen these many times. I've always been astounded at some of the prices that these go for, and they show up in big lump sum lots of paper items, so auction items and things along that line. $248 for these right here. I would have split them up and sold them. This one was a buy it now. It went very quickly, I would guess. And they would have been able to probably get a couple $100 more had they listed them separately. So who knows sometimes on some items like this. You'll list something really high, think nothing of it, and it'll sell just like that. These are considered coupons too. Ticket-wise as well, you can see them either way, but at the bottom of it, it always says coupons on the earlier ones. So people do confuse these with other things, but it's basically a ticket, a coupon book to get you in. It's an early version of it. Most of the e-tickets, A through E tickets, sell very well. Even partial booklets, even booklets missing all but one can still get you a few bucks. This is $217. And as I've talked about, cross-category interest. This one has multiple interests. Coupon collectors, theme park collectors, Disney collectors, just in general paper collectors even. So people who are big fans of Disneyland in general. So it's just got a broad range. It can be listed in Disney and travel and tourist section. There's a paper section for coupons and in the whole works. So there's at least 3 sections. That's what I try to say is any item you can get that could go in a couple categories and would have multiple people interested in them, those are usually the best ones to get. Now here's just another coupon pad like you'd still see these days at a store. You could just pull them off a pad. That's basically all this is. They still do it like the rebate pads you see. This is just the same gist of that, but from 1916. It's for Lionel train set. And, $189 right there. just for some old coupon pad. And again, most people would look at this. There's nothing fancy. There's no fancy logo. It's black and white. It's just a form. Don't get me wrong, most forms aren't worth much, but certain ones in the coupon category are. And I'm going to show you some that are coupons in a few minutes here that have another terminology to them. They're called chits. C-H-I-T-S. Chits. No idea why. It's a very old carry back to the 19th century from all the information I found. Somebody will probably know that information, be able to pop it below. But this is a coupon off of a Superman candy box. I've seen the box untorn apart. There's literally a Superman premium coupon on the back. It's like Superman Tim dollars, if you're familiar with those. If you're into comic books at all, Superman Tim, or the Tim Toy Store, was basically sponsored by DC Comics from what I see. And it was a store, and you could collect these Superman bills. And I had hundreds of them at one time that were my father's. And, you know, they're worth like $5-6 a piece on average. And sometimes you can walk up on big lots of these, but they have literally Superman in them. They're like from 1942 or 43 or something like that. And it looks like a bill with Superman's image on it in red. This is something similar, the same time frame. It's the similar style Superman. This little lid, this is a lid from a box with a coupon on it, $200 basically. Yes, that's an earlier odd item, but these kind of things here show up quite often, and I do mean quite often. You can get these fairly often, maybe not this quantity, 400 of them, but $144, 17 bids, good item. You could have sold them individually for $4 or $5, you know, pretty much all the time. Let's see here. Now, here's some newer coupons. These are from Krispy Kreme. I just wanted to show you what's available out there. I'm not going to go into much on these. As long as they aren't expired and have no expiration date, they're usually pretty good. To be more than 3 certificates. See, yeah, you can't reserve more or, you know, redeem more than 3, but even though these are from 2016, without expiration dates, they're always good. So there are some things like this that people do sell in here. I've sold some merchandise like this before, too. Not from Krispy Kreme, but just in general. This is more of the cigar ones. There's dozens and dozens of different companies that put these out. Even local stores and things like that. And you'd bring in enough of the coupons. If you only shop to the store, you'd eventually get enough. And you could turn it in for a set of china or some glasses or something like that. Or gifts, just like Marlboro Points is today. It's the same basic thing, just 70 years earlier or 100 years earlier, depending on the era of these. 122. The prices go all over the place, too. Here's a food coupons. I guess this is basically like food stamps of the day, maybe. $114. No good. You can't turn these in, so there's no crime on selling these as far as I understand it. They're dead products and long since dead. Let's see here. 115 basically. More ice coupons or ice booklets. Now this guy, I guess this is why we saw 6 just a few minutes ago. Somebody must have walked up on a whole case of these. That's kind of surprising. I'm really surprised. I usually don't see them this quantity, so somebody got lucky. Maybe this is something that will go really quick, and then prices will drop dead away because everybody will be able to get a copy of these. So that's probably what's going to happen on these. I would pretty much stay away, I guess, from these unless you're in on the first grouping, and then you'll have to wait otherwise. You know, so $134. I get stuff like that too in big quantities, and there's a game you got to play with it. You can't just list them all, and you can't flood the market. You got to trickle them out so that the price stays high. Here's some coupons. The Roughnecks, Tougher Than Kids. Must have come in a pack or something. Yeah, it's a packet. Probably included with this. Star Wars and Kiss. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Vintage one then, obviously. Thermos brand lunchbox. This would have been the insert that came in a lunchbox, like a Star Wars lunchbox, I'm assuming then. Yeah, the Roughnecks. That's the new thermoses. I'm sorry. So yeah, that is what that is. That's something you'd never find. Somebody got lucky on that one. $100 basically. More of the food stamp style things. These go into several categories. They're not just coupons, so to speak. They're actually worth money. So it's basically like Cinderella money or fantasy currency pieces to some extent. These are in terrible condition. Somebody probably just found them crinkled up in somebody's, junk paper in a state. That sort of stuff like this shows up. And it usually shows up for almost nothing because everybody thinks it's not worth anything. But $125 on this one. This is the precursor to Disney dollars. It's basically a coupon. You could only use it at Disney. Now they have Disney dollars today, and some of those still sell. This person got lucky. In Florida, we used to turn these up. In fact, this is from Florida. We used to turn these up all the time at sales in Florida. $80. You know, I've sold them back in the day when we first started selling. You get a couple $100 for some of these. Nowadays, obviously, it's like a third the price, but... now here's a little Rareway coupon ticket. As long as it says coupon, you're legit. And they don't even have to say that. It just has to be like a piece of paper with, you know, worth 25 cents or $1, whatever the case may be. They're almost like a token, so to speak, to like a paper token, which there's tons of as well, too, mind you. There's paper tokens for railroads even. Basically $80 on this one. It's from 1895. It's a New York City, Brooklyn subway. Fairly rare item. I might have put this up a little higher with the buy it now and see what happens. But anyway, it's too late for that person. So now here's a coupon book. Utah State Prison. You're just not going to find this kind of stuff. Maybe a state, you know, the state of Utah, you know, clearing out prison like an auction. And they do that. They do that around here. Sometimes you can walk up and get some stuff like this. I'm just never lucky enough to be around when they have had one that's, you know, selling some of the vintage warehouse items. But that's probably where this one came from. One booklet, $65. Here's a winning ticket you would have found in a can of Coke, actually. You can see the special spout on the top. I'm guessing they didn't send them in. Less cost of purchase, if any. You have one. Oh, somebody just didn't turn it in, so I guess they kept it as a memento. You see the price, $80. I would say that's pretty rare. It was from 1990. I remember some of these, the events they used to do and the things they had. I've got some Pepsi bottles with things inside them, like prize things, too. They do turn up. Just another Confederate one. Again, there's tons of different varieties. 8 cents July 1st, 1868. Now, that's if they won. This was issued in like 1864, 65. And if they won, they would pay it back in 1868. There's a whole big thing about this. If you like history, look up on it. That's some very interesting information. Again, signatures on some of these sometimes end up being worth some big bucks. This one only went for 60, so that's what I say. The other one was 368, I think, somewhere in that range. So you can see the difference. It also depends on how many coupons are there. If it's complete, it's worth a lot more. Let's see here. More of the food stamps. These things are all over the place, really, but people don't think they're worth money. I don't know how many of these probably were thrown away in junk paper because people just, what are you going to do with that? You can't do anything with it, and they just discarded it. $90 on that one. This is just an early tobacco one. Now, these kind of things show up. Goodwin's & Co. We have tons of stuff by them. This is like an album sticker. It would have come in the album, inserted like a card. You know, they're not super rare for us anyway, and that's $52. That's not bad. Little piece of paper. Somebody could have just found it in a junk lot, a big bulk lot. More of the ice company ones. Now, again, they're all over the place. It depends on the city and how many collectors there are from that city. This is 1,000 pounds of ice. $52 for the ticket, for the coupon. And again, these are similar to tickets in the whole earth. So, you know, 1/8 barrel beer, a coupon for actually getting beer, it looks like. Rather interesting. Free beer coupon, $51. There's a ton of free beer and bar coupons, too. Now, this is one I always look for. I always look for this one. This one shows up in magazines, and sometimes they're just junk magazines that most people wouldn't even pay attention to because the covers are terrible, just blank covers. But what you're looking for is this ad. Just a cutout version of that ticket can go for $200 or $300 minimum. Just that little ticket on the bottom of this page. With the page, obviously more. If it's out of the magazine or in the magazine, it doesn't really matter. They're buying it for that. So just keep an eye on it. You know, the back's nice, too. It's just a nice piece. Usually you'll see the whole thing. Now, the person probably didn't want to disassemble the magazine, was worried about ruining it, so he just sold the whole magazine. I would have taken it apart just personally. There's probably some ads in there. You could have made a few extra bucks out of a few of the ads, too. So, anyway, $275. Japanese one. This is a Japanese coupon. Don't think that this stuff won't show over here. There's enough, you know, past Star Wars collectors that stuff shows up in estates that they've collected over the years. So this is $28. Nothing fancy or big or anything. It's a newer one, but still. Here's another complimentary Coke one. I just showed some similar ones to this in a haul video. $20 on average, depending on which ones you have. That's just typical on these, so... And I've gotten quite a few of these. You know, it's something that shows up cheaply, and you can get a ton of them usually. Just more cigar ones. Again, there's tons of different varieties, so look them up and see if you're interested. You run into these, any of these, red stamps or the blue stamps or bread stamps or any of those kind of things sell, especially the ones like green stamps you'd stick in the books. Even the books will sell. Store stamps, collectible stamps, AMP stamps, the whole works. They're basically coupons, and most of them actually say coupons. Now here's a brochure, but in the brochure is a 10% off. I think it was Mount Low, yeah. You can get 10% off at Mount Low with that coupon. So just rather interesting. Mount Low's in California, if you didn't know that. There's an observatory there. $50. I think it's in Vallejo or something like Vallejo. Something like that. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong or the wrong city, but I know it's the general area. Let's see here. Now these I've had quite a few of. Usually you'll find these and it'll just be the bird, just this part of it. But with the coupon, certain ones of this series go for a lot of money. Most people don't even realize when they find these that you're missing the coupon. With the coupon on this one here, it's $50. An average card without the coupon is just a couple bucks. And other series of this same line of cards from Arm & Hammer without the coupons are just common $5, $6, $8, $10 cards. $14, $15 at most is what we sell them for. People try to put together a whole set of these, which is really hard, so that's why they go for so much. There's very limited of these coupon ones that people didn't turn in the coupon because you got something free when you turned in just the coupon part. And you'd get to keep the card. It was serrated. It's serrated, so you can just peel it off there, pull it off. This is another military. Now, this is a chits. I'm not trying to pronounce it weird or anything, but it's C-H-I-T-S. Chits. I'm not sure how the pronunciation is again. To me, the pronunciation is meaningless. It's just a typed word. You know, it's not something in my vocabulary that I run around talking about, but nothing wrong with these type of items. I find them in military estates. Even single individual ones of these little coupons go for some money. And it basically gives them 10 cents of free goods there. So it's basically a token as well as a coupon. It could be considered a Cinderella, a stamp as well if they're individual. $47 on that one. Another Coke coupon, earlier one, or actually Ward's Orange Crush. Orange Crush is fairly rare for these items. $42 for this one. Bond coupon, Railroad, Coney Island's what sold this one, I'm sure of it. $50. I believe that was a buy it now. They might have been able to do better on this one, but anyway, they did sell it, so no complaints. War ration books. Now, this is a huge quantity. For the most part, these don't sell super high unless you've got a bunch of them. This is $50 for a huge lot with the folders, the little wallet on the top there on the right. Those were bought extra or furnished extra, so you can find those occasionally. Those are fairly rare. They might have been able to get 30 or 40 just for that wallet as well anyway, so it went for 50. Foreign one from Spain, same thing. You can see the perforations. Okay, so now another perfect example. These are, you know, cheaply printed and all. They're usually printed at the base itself, so, or the hospital in this case, $50. Mostly the foreign ones don't sell as much, but, you know, they do show up. Here's a cotton coupon. It's basically a loan certificate, just like you see for the Confederate States itself. But this is just a coupon off one of them. So anyway, that's what you see here, $40. Let's see here. And they were for different items. It would purchase cotton or whatever the loan was for at the end of the day. So there's many different versions of that. These show up to Owl Drug. Now, these are like profit-sharing coupons. Many companies did this as well, too. Some of these could be considered bills or banknotes almost to some extent, but they're mostly just fantasy-type style. You can see where they're damaged from where they were connected to the book. And you'll see that because the material that has the book, there's more acid in that part versus the paper, which was pretty much acid-free. So it's usually just the end that was connected to the book that's damaged from what I see. $35 on that one. POW Camp Canteen. Chits, as you see, C-H-I-T-S, just FYI. Fort Dix, Prisoner of War. These are very, very scarce. I've only seen a couple in my life, and they were at military shows. $755. You just don't. These just don't turn up. These are scarce. This was Prisoner of War here, German or Japanese or whatever the case may be in this country. So, $755. I think this is Civil War or somewhere past in that range. This is a regimental one from the sutler that would have supplied. Yes, sutler, as you see. Chits, again, is what these are, or notes or something along that line. Civil War, $100. That's actually pretty cheap. I would have probably $150 as a bin, buy it now and just seen what happens. Here's some more mess ones from Mess Hall, Panama. This would have been U.S. NCO open mess. This is what they had to eat. They would have, just basically given them food here. Fort Mata, something along that line. Chits, here's another one. You can see it on here. Covers bars and things like that too. Rather interesting item. I think this is, French. I was just going to say beverage. It would give you free beverages or something along that line. $20. American Air Club, same thing. This is from a base. APO is an address. It says where they were at. It's worth 25 cents worth of food. It's basically a coupon worth 25 cents. Another officer's mess, Australia. Same thing. Both of them sold $10 in US, so basically 11 each. Depression script store token. This is when people were hard up and things weren't great. They would allow you to get so much if you'd spend it, your money there, or turn in coupons from spending stuff, and then they'd punch them at the end of the day. Usually the punch ones I see sometimes are worth more. A lot of coal mines and stuff had these too for their workers, but 45 for those. Here's another booklet here, like a little coupon. It would have come inside some pack of cigarettes or something. $31 for this one. It's good for one 12.5-cent cigar, which is a fairly decent cigar back then. 32 basically. Here's another officer's mess one. This is in Japan. Actually, it's the USS Luzon, so it's a ship over there that was in Japan. So probably they used them on the coast as well too, on the mainland. That would be post-war during occupation time. Jacksonville Bridge, again, another coupon will get you through the bridge. It was probably a toll bridge, toll bridge for trucks. So $22.72. These show up for, you name it, they show up all across the board. Here's an interesting one, too. This is USS Oklahoma, sunk at Pearl Harbor. Now, everybody thinks it sunk at Pearl Harbor, so it was shot. Some of the ships were raised. I don't know if this one was, but they actually repaired and were able to pump out some of the ships, bring them up above sea level again, and then pull them out to dry dock, and they did repair some of them. So some of them did see service again, from what I understand. So this is a pretty rare item, though. But either way, it's one little tiny piece of paper, it looks like. Or maybe a couple. But either way, it's just a small little, like a theater ticket, a little small theater ticket, $15.50. That's about it for today. But again, there's coupons for everything, and they go all the way back to Civil War times and before. You'll see them for every establishment you could imagine. But that's what I have for you today.
Well, there you go. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified when we post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.